DeBrosse, the gun lawyer.
Howdy, y'all. Gun lawyer here again. Derek DeBrosse here with Associate Michael Truman. Answering more of your questions. We're going to continue onward today and talk about some motor vehicle questions we got again. We get these questions routinely, a ton. There's a lot of video in our history, and our website's got a really good webpage on motor vehicle carry law. Look it up, review it, do your research. But it is convoluted in Ohio. With that said, first question today is from TriStar RV Fish, who states, would the same go for motorcycles? Michael, what do you say?
Yes, the laws that apply in a motor vehicle also apply to a motorcycle. Motorcycle qualifies as a motor vehicle.
And we'll be doing videos. The next time we film, we're actually going to go to one of my clients' gun ranges, and they have some motorcycles. I'm a motorcycle owner myself, Harley, and we'll give you some examples, things like that. And the next one's from Joe B, and Joe B says, is carrying an unloaded firearm, so the gun's unloaded, which in Ohio is defined as the magazine can have ammunition in it, but it's got to be in complete and separate enclosure from the firearm, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So it's unloaded in a glove compartment. I'm presuming Joe B means a handgun, and not like an SBR or anything like that, but he just says firearm. But firearms in the glove compartment unloaded, and there's a loaded magazine in the center console. Is that a legal way to carry in Ohio without a CHL? With a CHL would be fine, obviously. Or is a box bag or case the only way? What do you say?
Without a CHL, that would be illegal. The firearm needs to be unloaded, which he said it would be, but it needs to be in a compartment that is not accessible by someone within the vehicle. So a trunk, as long as it's not an SUV or the new kind of cars where you can actually reach back from the back seat, or it needs to be in a closed box bag or case. In this case,
right.
Doesn't qualify.
It can also be in a rack or holder made for that purpose. That's an interesting question. I mean, when I grew up and going to high school during hunting season, I went to a very small private school. There'd be all kinds of people with shotgun racks and stuff like that in their truck. That'd be fine.
Right.
But you see these, there's a lot of holsters now that are made to hold guns that are bolted to the side of consoles and things like that. I think it meets the definition of law if you put it in your car.
I think it does as well.
You can get those holsters that mount underneath the steering column. Mm-hmm. I generally tactically don't think that's a good way to carry your primary weapon because if you have to exit the vehicle, it's not on you, right? Mm-hmm. So you'd want a backup gun if you do that. However, I think it would probably be legal because I believe it's a rack or a holster made for that purpose is the way the law defines it. Another question is from Sosa, and Sosa states, I have no CCW. I think they mean CHL, as my loyal followers know. I'm adamant that it's not a CCW in Ohio. But I plan on buying a pistol. How should I transport it? Again, look at our website, ohiogunlawyer.com. I can't give you any direct legal advice because that's such a broad question. I don't know, you're going to be driving in a car, you're going to be walking down the street, bicycle, I don't know. I have enough information, so please feel free to call and we can set up a consultation. But we do have all the laws on our website, ohiogunlawyer.com, regarding car carry, so definitely look it up. It's pretty thorough on there. Additionally, Jorge asks us, if I decided to take a few drinks, how can I carry my firearms in a legal way? I have a CHL. All right, right out the gate, I have a video on this. Don't do it. Yeah, I'm not going to go into the question. Don't drink. Alcohol and guns, they don't mix. It's just not a good idea. All right, I'm not going to embellish the question, to be quite frank with you. Being an instructor myself, I would never, ever recommend or encourage somebody to do that. I was in court today, actually, Michael and I, weren't we? Mm-hmm. And the judge restored a client's rights, and what did he tell the client?
Said, make sure you don't drink or use any prescription drugs.
And he said he sees it all the time. And so that's our opinion on it. Call us if you have any questions or concerns about that.
Yeah, you've got to remember, alcohol impairs your judgment. So even if you think you're only going to have one drink, you don't know where it can lead.
Yeah, so that is what it is. Next question is from a Dean. Dean asks, can you leave it in your car at work if they have it posted as no weapons if you have a concealed handgun license? So the question, and this is a big hot issue, isn't it, is what if my employer says I can't carry and on their property and I show up to work and leave it in my car? Is that legal or not? Michael?
So this is an interesting question. It is technically illegal, but it's not a criminal violation. It's a civil violation only. So therefore, you're not going to be charged criminally for this. But the important thing to keep in mind is that your employer can still fire you for violating their policies.
Ohio's what we call an at-will state. I don't do a lot of employment law, but I know enough to deal with the gun issues. And an employer can fire you for that very reason. They can't fire you for your race, religion, creed, anything like that. The protected classes that we have in this country, unfortunately, gun owners are not necessarily a protected class. So you will likely be fired or be reprimanded. So don't do it. We get questions on that all the time. So thanks. That was a good question. Next question is from Matthew. Matthew asks, is it legal to have a handgun off body, say in the center console or the glove box, when you have a CHL but the passenger does not? Interesting question. It really comes down to how the facts play out. As long as it's your firearm, I think you're fine. If it's clearly your firearm and not the passenger's. Passenger did nothing wrong. Passenger didn't possess the gun. I don't think a prosecutor could prove that. You do put your passenger maybe at some risk of an overzealous prosecutor arguing constructive possession, which means you have the intention and the power to exercise a dominion and control over the weapon. But again, I think I've never seen it in my career where that's become an issue. I think if it did become an issue, it'd be because you have an overzealous prosecutor or a law enforcement officer. So I would just be precautious in that regard and try to keep it on your person. I don't think it's a good idea to keep the gun in the glove box if it's your primary carry weapon. I think it's better to keep it on your person from a tactical perspective anyhow. So hopefully that answers your question.